Have you ever heard a town fall asleep? I'm not talking about the shops closing or the streetlights flickering on. I'm talking about a literal collective sigh as an entire town drifts into slumber. Welcome to Havenwood, a small, unassuming town nestled somewhere in the American heartland. The year is 2026. On the surface, Havenwood is picture-perfect fences, manicured lawns, and a main street that looks like it's been pulled straight from a postcard. But beneath this tranquil facade lies a bizarre, unsettling secret. A rumor whispered among the few who dare to stay awake. They say Havenwood falls asleep before its residents do. Imagine this: the gentle hum of the cicadas suddenly ceases. The distant bark of a dog goes silent. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. It's a deep, profound quiet that settles over the town like a heavy blanket long before the last lights in the houses go out. Most people in Havenwood are used to it. They call it the hush and accept it as a local quirk, a charming oddity. They go to bed early, sleep soundly, and wake up refreshed, completely oblivious to the phenomenon. They don't question it, they just sleep. But not everyone. Meet Lena, a college student back home for the summer. Unlike everyone else in her family, Lena has always been a restless sleeper. Insomnia has been her lifelong companion, her nights a frustrating cycle of tossing and turning. For her, the hush isn't a charming quirk. It's a prelude to something eerie. But while her family succumbs to an unnaturally deep sleep, Lena lies awake, her senses on high alert. The silence in Havenwood isn't peaceful to her, it's predatory. It's a void where the normal sounds of life should be. She hears things in that silence, a faint rhythmic pulse, like a slow, giant heartbeat resonating from beneath the earth. It's a sound no one else seems to notice, a vibration that thrums through the very foundations of her house. Night after night, Lena documents her experiences. She records the precise moment the hush begins, noting the abrupt cutoff of all ambient noise. She tries to stay awake, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower, fighting against a wave of drowsiness that feels unnatural, almost forceful. Her journal entries become more frantic. 11:47 p.m. The hush begins. It's like the world just hit a mute button. Mum and Dad were out like lights within minutes. 1:15 a.m. The pulsing is back. Stronger tonight. It feels like it's right under my bed. My eyelids feel like lead. She starts seeing things, too. Flickering shadows in her peripheral vision, shapes moving in the unlit corners of her room. Are they just tricks of a sleep-deprived mind, or is something else awake in Havenwood when everyone else is asleep? Her search for answers leads her to the local library's dusty archives. She spends her days poring over old town records, microfilms of forgotten newspapers, and handwritten journals from Havenwood's founders. The librarian, a kindly old man named Mr. Abernathy, watches her with a curious, almost knowing look. Lena discovers that her insomnia isn't unique. Throughout Havenwood's history, there have been others. The Watchers, they called themselves in old letters, a secret lineage of insomniacs, who, for generations, have been the town's unwilling guardians of the night. They documented the same phenomena: the unnatural silence, the heavy sleep that claimed their families, and the low subterranean pulse. One journal, belonging to a woman from the 1950s, sends a chill down Lena's spine. It describes the sleepers, not the townspeople, but something else. Beings that emerge during the hush, drawn by the town's collective slumber. The journal entry reads, "They walk when we dream. They are drawn to our unconsciousness. They feed on it. Our role as watchers is to simply observe, to never interfere. To break the silence is to wake not just the town, but them." This revelation changes everything. The heavy sleep isn't a natural phenomenon, it's a induced state, a lure. Havenwood isn't just a town, it's a feeding ground. Driven by a mix of terror and determination, Lena decides she can't just be a passive watcher. She needs proof. Armed with a high-sensitivity audio recorder and a night vision camera, she ventures out into the sleeping town. The moment she steps outside, the silence is overwhelming. It's a physical pressure against her eardrums. The air is still cold and charged with a strange energy. Main Street is deserted, every window dark. The rhythmic pulsing she heard in her room is louder out here, a clear, distinct beat coming from the town square. It's a sound that seems to call to something deep within the earth. As she moves cautiously toward the source of the sound, she sees them for the first time. Tall, slender figures emerge from the shadows between buildings. They move with an unsettling grace, their forms indistinct, almost blurry, as if they are woven from the darkness itself. They don't walk on the pavement, they glide just above it. They are the sleepers. They drift through the streets, their heads turning slowly, as if sensing the dream energy radiating from the houses. They are drawn to the homes where the sleep is deepest. Pausing outside, their featureless faces turned towards the windows. Lena hides behind a statue, her heart hammering against her ribs, her breath catching in her throat. She fumbles with her camera, her fingers numb with fear, and starts recording. Suddenly, one of the figures stops. It turns its head not towards a house, but directly towards her hiding spot. It knows she's there. It knows she's awake. The rule was clear: never interfere, never be seen. Lena has broken the rule. The figure lets out a silent shriek, a psychic wave of pressure that makes Lena's head spin. The other figures turn in unison, their attention fixed on her. The hunt has begun. She scrambles to her feet and runs, the silent town now her labyrinthine prison. She races through dark alleys and backyards, the gliding figures always just behind her, their unnatural speed terrifying. They don't make a sound, which is somehow even more frightening. There's no footfall, no heavy breathing, just the chilling sight of their dark forms closing in. Her only hope is to break the silence, to wake the town. But how? She remembers the old church bell tower at the edge of the square. It hasn't been rung in decades. If she can reach it, if she can make it ring, maybe the sound will be enough to shatter the hush and wake everyone up. It's a desperate gamble. She sprints towards the church, the strange pulsing rhythm of the town now, a frantic drumming in her ears. The sleepers are closing in, their dark ethereal shapes converging on her location. She reaches the heavy oak doors of the church, throws her weight against them, and stumbles inside, slamming and bolting them just as the first figure reaches the steps. She doesn't waste a second, racing up the winding, dusty stairs of the bell tower. As she climbs, the church begins to tremble. The sleepers are outside, their collective will pounding against the ancient stone walls. Lena reaches the top, breathless, and faces the giant bronze bell. The thick, frayed rope hangs before her. With the last of her strength, she grabs it and pulls. At first, nothing happens. The rope is stiff, the bell unmoved. The pounding on the church walls intensifies. She pulls again and again, putting her entire body into it. Finally, with a deafening, resonant clang, the bell rings out. The sound is explosive in the profound silence. It shatters the hush like a pane of glass. A collective gasp seems to rise from the entire town. Lights flicker on in house after house. Dogs start barking. The cicadas start chirping again. The normal sounds of life flood back in an instant. Outside the church, the sleepers recoil from the sound, their forms dissolving back into shadows, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. The subterranean pulsing stops. Lena, exhausted, collapses by the bell, the glorious, chaotic noise of an awakened town, the sweetest sound she has ever heard. Heavenward is awake, for now, but as the sun rises, Lena knows the night will come again, and the sleepers will be waiting. Only this time, they know her name. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more content.